now, for Weekend Check-In, sponsored by Hampton by Hilton. Hilton for the stay. Let's check in on some fan bases after week one, because there's some fan bases that I feel like we got to look into. First of all, let's start with LSU. All right. I don't quite think it's time to panic for LSU, but boy, it's time to be frustrated. And so how should LSU feel? Frustrated. They made mistakes on the field last year that can be explained away because you had a new coach and a kind of a new team with some transfers in there. And it's like, okay, and we played better by the end and won the SEC. And there was this sentiment that it was like, well, that's going to change and we won't make those same mistakes early in this season. And guess what? It happened again. Now, do I think Florida State is that much better than LSU? Probably not. The score got away from it a little bit. Why? Because they didn't execute and made massive mistakes, in particular in that first half. Probably could have had a lead by a score or two at times during that game. Their quarterback's got to play better. Their execution has got to get better. Their special teams has got to get cleaned up. So I would be frustrated. Why would I be frustrated? Because this is still a team that's going to compete in the SEC. And what I wouldn't want if I was a Tiger fan is to have the same type of year we had a year ago, win a special game against Alabama on the road in Tuscaloosa, get to the SEC championship game, and not really be in the playoff picture. Why? Because of some silly game at the beginning of the year where we didn't play our best. So highly frustrated for LSU here after week one. All right, let's move on. Oklahoma. This one is going to be a sit tight. Sit tight, Oklahoma. I get it. Like 73-0 feels good. I get it. Arkansas State was picked second to last in the Sun Belt West. All right. So just sit tight. You can tell me all you want how the defense looked better. And you know what? I hope it did. And I have been singing your praises during the preseason and in the offseason saying, Oklahoma's one of those teams that I could see if they were to fix a few of the things that they needed to get fixed, they could win some of those close games that were close losses last year and easily be 10-win team this year. That can happen. Absolutely. But they've got to just keep playing. In particular on that defensive side, they've got to continue to get better. Arkansas State does not make you. It doesn't make you a good defense. You know that. I know that. Okay, so sit tight and get that defense ready to go so that you can play well defensively against Quinn Ewers and Texas and Dallas. That's the main objective. All right, we move on. Penn State. Let's go to Penn State. If I was Penn State right now, how would I feel if I was a fan? I would feel giddy. Wow, that's a good one. That's a really Joel, giddy? Yeah, I would feel giddy. You know why I would feel giddy? Because I would feel pretty confident based on what I saw, not only out of my team at Penn State, but also around the Big Ten, that I'm rooting for a team that is no longer just clearly third in that division. Based on week one, if I'm a Nittany Lion fan, I'm giddy at the fact that it's pretty clear this is an absolute three-team race in the East. I still think I would favor Michigan. Fine. Okay, Penn State fans, I think you would even have to agree with that, in particular with what they did against you in Ann Arbor last year running the football. But with what Ohio State did at Indiana and the way that their offensive line looked in particular, and their quarterback issues kind of seeping into now week 2 of the college football season, there's no other way to put it other than like, yeah, Penn State could easily play with and beat one of those two teams. For the first time in a number of years, I am confident in saying that Penn State is absolutely on the level with Michigan and Ohio State. So how would I feel? If I was a Penn State fan, I would be giddy about that. Giddy after week 1. All right, let's move on. A couple of more. Let's go with Colorado. What am I going to say about Colorado? If I was a Colorado fan, I would be euphoric. Are you serious with what we saw on Saturday? That was incredible. Should be a movie about it. Probably will, because there was 18 camera crews following Coach Prime around. Euphoric. Now, certainly there's a danger in getting too high and like, could it all come crashing down this weekend? Yeah, if they don't return to the urgency that they played with against TCU, Nebraska can and will beat them if they don't play well. Okay. But having said that, that was a euphoric moment for Buffs fans. I know who you are. I had all your text messages. I know exactly how you feel. I sat in Folsom Field when I was 6 years old and fell in love with the University of Colorado. I fell in love with Ralphie. I fell in love with the gold helmet. And even though they wore white on Saturday, that was a magical moment for that program and that fan base. That fan base had to watch a program that had fallen to the depths of the Power Five, Pac-12 and Power Five. Depths. Worst Power 5 program in the country for 15 years or more. I mean, it was bad. There was a year here or there where it was like, oh, they're getting good again. So Saturday, after all the hype, after everything that went on, that was a euphoric moment for Colorado fans. Enjoy it. Enjoy it. But I'll tell you this. Not only for the fans, but also for those players. If you're a Colorado Buffalo and you're watching this, whether it's the coaching staff and or the players, you better come ready to play Saturday. Because Nebraska will be ready. I know that rivalry. I just covered that Nebraska team. They will play hard. They will run the ball more physically and more soundly than TCU did. That was the one area that Colorado could not stop TCU whatsoever. Nebraska will not make the same mistakes that the Horned Frogs made. So rest assured, you play for Colorado, you better have the same sense of urgency that you had last week, or it's going to come crashing down. Next fan base. TCU. I would be really concerned if I was a TCU fan. I would be very concerned. Offense scored 42. I think that you can think to yourself, all right, like there's some things, there's some pluses, there's some players, there's some speed. All of that is true. There's no doubt about it. But man, the exact same things that were issues a year ago are still issues, in particular for the defense. They gave up so many big plays a year ago, and it's a big reason why Max Duggan had to put on the cape and be a hero in so many close games is because they gave up so many big plays. And now you look at this defense, in the last 4 games that they've played, they've given up 31, 45, 65, and 45 points. That's an average of 46.5. That's not going to cut it. You can't win like that, period. The defense has to get better. They never adjusted. And this is, listen, it's partly scheme from the coaches, and then it's partly personnel. Like, if I'm the personnel, you guys had to win one-on-one pass rushing battles up front. They've got to figure out a way to present pressure on the quarterback. That's number one. From a scheme standpoint, you cannot continue to run man coverage in short yardage situations and allow the back to just beat your linebacker. Let me give you a great example. TCU tried to run the exact same concept that Colorado was running to Dylan Edwards, but the difference was that Colorado was well coached enough to pass off the 2 slant routes and allow Travis Hunter to fall off into the lap of the back in the flat, and he got an interception. Did that happen on TCU? Nope. They did not have that discipline. They do not have that skill set. That's a scheme thing. The coaching staff for TCU has got to teach them how to pass off the in-breaking routes when they're in man coverage so that they don't get out-leveraged by the back against the linebacker in the flat. That's what happened on the first touchdown. That's what happened on the last touchdown. Dylan Edwards receiving both of those. So I would be concerned. There's a huge amount of concern for TCU, and it's mainly on that defensive side. They have to fix that defense. Thank you for watching the Joel Klatt Show YouTube channel. And if you liked this clip, make sure to like it and subscribe to the channel, and you can stay up to date on all of my college football coverage.